Hello, my name is Mustapha Momo, and I'm currently enrolled for a master's in systems engineering at Stevens Institute of Technology, New Jersey. I have over 4 years of experience as a test prep tutor, and in the course of those 4 years, I have helped students achieve their dream scores in the SAT, the GRE, and the GMAT, and consequently or subsequently gotten into their dream schools. Typically on the SAT, my students score in the range of 1,500 to 1,600, and my best score so far is about 1,570, which was actually achieved by a student who had a score of 1,000 prior to contacting me. On the GMAT, I've helped students improve their scores from 580 to about 740, which is about 27% improvement in scores. And on the GRE, I've had a student who was struggling with a score of about 310 after two attempts and was able to improve her score from 310 to 336, which is a score improvement of about 26 points. So, my approach to tutoring students is first off giving them a diagnostic test, which actually gauges their proficiency level and reveals their areas of weakness. And from the results of the test, I'm able to draft a timetable and a schedule that's tailored to the needs of the student. So, in doing so, I've been able to achieve uh, the tremendous success which is already shown on my profile. Now, just to give you a broader insight into my teaching methodology, I have drafted or adapted questions from the official material for the SAT and the GRE. I'm going to briefly show you how to combat such problems on the exam. So, if you permit me, I'm going to share my screen with you and quickly solve the problems. All right, so this is the advanced math section, advanced mathematics section on the SAT. This question right here. It says, here we have an equation, and it says, in the equation above, b is a constant. If the equation is true for all values of x, what is the value of b? So, how would you approach this question? Well, just taking a look at this question, you might be fazed by it. You might feel intimidated by this particular question. But it's a very simple question if you understand what is required of you. So basically, this question is trying to test your knowledge of expansion of algebraic expressions and your ability to compare expressions on both sides of an equation. So on the left hand side, we have x squared plus bx minus 2 times x plus 3, and on the right we have this polynomial expression. So I think there's no bracket here. All right, fine. So first off, we're going to have to expand the product on the left hand side and then compare it to the terms on the right hand side. So how do we do that? So x squared multiplied by x, we have x to the power of 3. X squared times 3 gives you 3x squared. Bx times x is plus bx squared, and minus 2 times 3, bx times 3, sorry, it's plus 3bx. Then minus 2 times x is minus 2x, minus 2 times 3 is minus 6. Okay, so this is x cubed, 3x squared. Do we have like terms? All right, fine. We have x squared is a like term, and so we're going to group that. We're going to group 3 and b. So we add 3 and b, we have x squared outside, then plus we have a common term. These two terms have x in common, so I can bring out the x and then have 3b minus 2 outside and then minus 6. So comparing this expression to the expression on the right hand side, 6x squared plus 7x minus 6. If you compare these two expressions, then we can say that 3 plus b is equal to 6, because the second term here has a power, um, have the second degree of what, of x, right? So the x raised to the power of 2, and so the coefficient, which is 3 plus b, must equal the coefficient of the x raised to the power 2 term in the second expression on the right hand side. So 3 plus b must equal 6. And so from here we can say that b is equal 6 minus 3, which is equal to 3. Okay, so simply by equating this term to this term, we've been able to solve for the value of b. Okay, so another approach or a different approach might just be to equate this term to this term. All right, because both terms have the same power of x, and so we can say 3 or 3b minus 2 equals 7, then 3b equals 9, b equals 9 over 3, and that's equal to 3. So in both cases, we have the same value of b, and that's equal to 3. And so our answer is b. Okay, so by simply expanding the expression on the left hand side and then comparing the terms of the result of that expansion to the terms of the expression on the right hand side, we've been able to find the value of b. So let's move to the next question. Next says, so here I have a verbal question from the GRE, and this is an example of a test completion question. So we have a long text here with a blank space to be filled. Now, for test completion questions, actually, you're required to identify the keywords or the clues or the connectors in the prompt or in the question. And from the keywords, which should serve as a clue as to what should fill the blank, you should be able to tell the actual word or option that would best fill the blank space. Now, question one says, because economists have yet to identify a pattern of economic indicators that consistently blank a rise or fall in employment, they have not been able to furnish government with a method for predicting unemployment rates. So, what are our keywords here? Or what was a clue? Now, a pattern is what economists have been unable to identify, a pattern of economic indicators, okay, which consistently dash a rise or fall in employment. Okay, had they been able to identify these patterns, then they will be able to furnish governments with a method for predicting unemployment rates. Okay, but now this pattern come before a rise or fall in employment. The patterns must come before a rise or fall in employment, or must be identified before the rise or fall in unemployment, so that they can predict using this pattern a method for predicting. They can deduce from this pattern a method for predicting unemployment rates. Okay, so the best option that would fill this space here for would be precede. Okay, because a pattern will have to precede. They must act as a sign for a rise or fall in employment. Okay, because we're trying to predict the future, we must use the present patterns. The patterns it gives us, right? The patterns that give rise to these rise or fall in employment, or the patterns that come before the rise or fall in employment. Okay, so it's precede, and the answer must be this. All right. Then lastly, we have a question. This is a quantitative reasoning question from the GRE, a QC, quantitative comparison. Okay. Now let's look at it briefly. It says in the figure shown, this is this question right here. Two rectangular regions overlap to form a triangular region. This is region A and region B overlapping to form this triangular region. Here is a triangular region formed by the overlapping or the overlap of these two rectangular regions. Then he went on to say the perimeters of the rectangles are 15 and 21, and the perimeter of the triangle is 6. Now we're required to compare the sum of the lengths of the thick line segments and 30. Okay, so how do we do that given the information we have here before us? So first off, we're given that parameters are 15 and 21. Okay, and so the sum of these parameters would represent the sum of all the lengths of these two rectangles. Okay, okay, so sum equals, or total perimeters equals 15 plus 21, and that makes um, 36. Okay, 36 represents the sum of this total length from here to this to this to this, and everything in green. Okay, so everything in green is 36. All right, and everything in red is so the red portion, or the red boundaries, or the figure bounded with the red lines has a perimeter of 6, which is a triangle, right? For the triangle. Now we're required to find the perimeter, we're required to compare the sum of the length of the thick line segments. All right. So excluding this, okay, the thick line segments represent the remaining portions of the rectangles which did not what overlap. All right. So that's gonna be 36, which is a full perimeters of the two rectangles, minus 6, that is minus the red parts. All right, and that makes 30. So essentially we are comparing 30 to 30. So because both quantities are equal, our answer must be, the answer must be C. All right, so that brings us to the end of the little demonstration. Okay, and well, I'm confident you actually followed through to the end, and do well to book a lesson with me if you want to see more um, explanations like the ones I've shown to you just right now. And if you would like to improve your scores over a very short period, okay? So book a lesson with me today. Thank you.